Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL and welcome to another weekly video helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. This week we're looking at game week 25, there's doubles, there's blanks. I actually did a video yesterday about game week 25 to 29. I covered all the double game weeks, all the blank game weeks, so if you haven't watched that one, I'd go and check that one out and then come back here for the waiver picks. We're looking at game week 25 specifically today. Let's get stuck into the picks. Okay, first man up is someone I went for last week as well. It's Mykolenko once again, available in 67% of leagues. I went for him last week, got the clean sheet, did the business. I actually picked up Coleman in a couple of my leagues where Mykolenko was already picked. Obviously got the goal, the clean, the bonus, so that was a definite success. But yeah, Everton came through with the clean sheet last week. Hopefully they can do it again this week in game week 25. That Villa at home game is the one we are targeting. But they have got the double game week with Arsenal as well. Absolute no-brainer pick up an Everton defender this week. They've also got Forest away, Brentford at home in the next two after that, which are good fixtures as well. There's also a big blank game week in game week 28. More details on that in the video from yesterday. But Everton are guaranteed to play in that week, and it is Chelsea away, which is a little bit tougher, but at least they do have a fixture that week. So definite good time to pick up an Everton defender. I like Mykolenko. Tarkowski's probably my favourite, but he is the most selected of the defenders. I like Coleman as well. Patterson is on his way back from injury, but I don't think he's going to make the double game week. I think he'll probably be back for game week 26. Okay, next up we have got Kufal of the single game week players. He is available in 91% of leagues. Obviously that is courtesy of draftfc.co.uk, link down below in the description. They have got, West Ham have got Forest at home this week, which is a great fixture. The bookies really heavily favour West Ham this week, and I kind of understand why, because West Ham's results have been poor, but the underlying data has actually been really good. They've just not been finishing any chances, and they've been conceding some sloppy goals, so you'd think that will even out at some point. They are heavily favoured against Forest this week at home, as I said. I think they're the fourth most likely team to keep a clean sheet this week, and that includes the double game weeks. So definitely think a West Ham defender is a good pick. Kufal is the one I'm going for. There are a couple of options. Kera and Aguerd I think are good picks as well. You also have Ogbonna, who played the last game, but he had a bit of a poor game against Spurs, and it looks like Zuma may be back, but we're not 100% sure on that, so there is a little bit of uncertainty around which of the centre-backs will start. Emerson looks like decent chance he'll start in the left wing back role, but again not quite as certain. So Kufal is definitely the one I favour, and he is available in 91% of leagues. He's quite attacking as well, so definitely a decent pick. The fixtures aren't great after that. Brighton away is pretty tricky, Villa at home's not bad, and then a City away in game week 28. But yeah, definitely for a 1 week punt, I think a West Ham defender, and specifically Kufal, is a good pick. Next up in the 1 week punt region again is Robin Koch, available in 99% of leagues. Saints at home this week is a really strong fixture. They're heavily favoured against Saints as well, another team that's doing pretty well on the data. Fixtures after that are pretty poor. Chelsea away, Brighton at home is not good, and then Wolves away is okay in game week 28. But that game is up in the air whether that will go ahead. That all depends on Leeds' FA Cup result. But yeah, I do think Leeds defence this week is a pretty backable team for a clean sheet. Saints did look better against Chelsea, but they're still not exactly the most free scoring side in the league, so at home you would back Leeds in this fixture. On to mids then, and I tipped him last week again. Iwobi came through with an assist. Still available in 58% of leagues. As I said with Mykolenko, these fixtures for the next four, the fixtures for the next three, and just the fact they have a game in 28 definitely lends itself to Everton being a very backable team at the moment. The double this week: Forest away, Brentford at home. I've said it a million times. But But yeah, they are really, really good fixtures, hence why I've got so many Everton players this week. I've got Iwobi, I've also got McNeil, same as last week. I think they're the two best midfielders to go for in this Everton side. I would also maybe consider Doucouré, but I think he's slightly less nailed than the two wide men. But yeah, I mean, McNeil's available in 90% of leagues. It was Iwobi that got the assist last week. I think McNeil is actually maybe a slightly better pick. He's got all the set pieces, gets forwards just as much, got good delivery, and Dyche knows him really well, may well get the best out of him. So Iwobi and McNeil, both really good picks for the next three. Listen, I will have some new picks for you at some point, I promise, but I just can't resist but go back in for Adama Traore. It is a double game week. Fulham away, Liverpool away are tough fixtures, but I will say, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. He started the previous game, and I think he's probably going to start both of the double game week games. And I think in the kind of games you want Adama Traore are when they're not going to have that much of the ball. They're going to be hitting teams on the break. Fulham away, Liverpool away, they both play with a reasonably high line. They both are having some defensive problems. And I think Adama is someone that can just absolutely ruin these type of teams. So I think for 96% availability, especially if you're in a bigger league, you want a double game week player. I've personally picked him up in one of my leagues, actually in the Snake Draft League I've picked him up, and I just think this has the kind of the narrative behind it for him to have a really good week. So yeah, I'm going for it. It might be a bit of a risk, he may well not start, but I really do think he is going to start at least one of the games, and I do fancy him in these fixtures. Finally, in the midfielders, I think it's time everyone picks up Luis Diaz if he's still available. He's available in 49% of leagues, so half of leagues he's available, and I think now is the time to go in for him. We've had some comments from Klopp about his availability. He's running back on grass. He's starting to get over this injury that he's had. I think it's reasonable to think he's going to miss game week 25 for sure. I think he'll definitely miss game week 26. I think it's reasonable to see him get some minutes in game week 27 against Bournemouth. That's kind of where people are tipping him to be back around the 11th of March, which is game week 27. And then we could see him back game week 28 for Fulham. Liverpool do have another double game week in game week 29, and I think he'll probably be back in time for that. So fantastic player, was absolutely brilliant when he joined last season, really changed Liverpool's attack. I think he'll be a main man when he is fit and firing, and if he's available in your league and you have a spare slot, obviously if you've already got problems, if you've got blanks, whatever, it may not be the perfect time to pick him up, but I do think it's a good option, and now is around about the time to pick him up. If you think you can get away with one more week, then definitely take one more week, maybe take 2 more weeks if you think you can get away with it, but definitely have him on your radar for sure. Okay, then on to forwards, and I will say I've got 3 forwards for you this week, and in my year and a bit of tipping draft fantasy football waiver picks, I don't think I've ever found 3 forwards in a week, all with decent availability, but here we have it. So first up, it's the cheat Neil Maupay, available in 71% of leagues. Calvert-Lewin is basically dead. Dyche was very disappointed and disgruntled and generally miserable about Calvert-Lewin's potential, so I don't see him coming back anytime soon. Maupay available in 71% of leagues, which, considering he's probably going to start the next few, I know that Sims started in the derby up front, but I don't really see that happening long term. I think it will be Maupay for the majority of the rest of the season, and when he's available in that high percentage of leagues, I think you've just got to go for it. The double game week this week, then it's Forest, then it's Brentford, then they don't blank in 28. I've spoken about Everton too much already, but I do think Neil Maupay is a really good pick, and I'm really surprised just how available he is. I guess he's not really done that much this season when he has been given the chance, but Everton look like they're turning a corner, so I think now is a good time to get on. Second forward this week is Chris Wood of Forest, available in 69% of leagues, and he looks like we're going to see the Chris Wood that we saw at Burnley for a few seasons, where he was getting 12, 15 goals a season, really reliable. I think this Forest side kind of suits him perfectly. He's got Brennan Johnson up there with him who can run the channels, make the space. Chris Wood's going to hang around in the 6-yard box, get some pens, get some tap-ins, and I'm all in on that. So I am a big fan of Chris Wood. I think he's a perfect third forward. And listen, we've all got some trash in our front lines in some of these leagues, so I think he'll be better than the vast majority of the third forward options. The fixtures are pretty good. West Ham away is okay. Everton at home is pretty good. Spurs away is not horrendous. And then Newcastle at home in 28 is okay. Forest are another team that definitely do have a fixture in game week 28. They do not blank, so Newcastle and Forest will definitely play in game week 28, which is a definite good thing because there's going to be some absolute carnage that week. So yeah, I just think Chris Wood, we've seen, before his transfer to Newcastle, we've seen how good he can be and how consistent he can be in the Premier League. So I think we're going to see that side of him return. The third forward I've got this week is Big Paul Onuachu for Saints, available in 92% of leagues. And Saints have been terrible. Nathan Jones was an absolute car crash, but they have got Sellés in at the moment, only on a caretaker basis, but I do see him taking the job until the end of the season. And I think there's a medium, okay-ish, slight chance they might stay up. They're definitely going to score a few more goals. I think the team look a little bit happier. And if you want to take a punt on Saints, I think this is the man to go for. Big Paul. The fixtures for the next 3 are really good. Leeds away, Leicester at home, and then a double game week in 27 of United away, Brentford at home. They're more than likely going to blank in game week 28, so that Tottenham fixture is kind of irrelevant. Basically, no one's got any Saints players on any team in any league, apart from James Ward-Prowse. But if you think they're going to turn a corner, I think this man's going to have a lot to do with it. He looks like he's going to be a real handful. I think it's definitely worth a punt. Okay then everyone, they are my picks for game week 25. As I said at the start, if you missed my video from yesterday detailing the blanks and the double game weeks and what's happening, then please do go back and watch that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, like the video if you enjoyed, check out the Patreon in the description down below, and thank you for watching. We will see you next time.